Close your eyes for a moment and picture Britain in 1967. The Beatles are everywhere, on radios, in cafes, blaring from the back seat of a Morris Minor. Carnaby Street bursts with colour, a kaleidoscope of miniskirts, paisley shirts, and laughter. There's the smell of fresh print from newspapers speaking of Harold Wilson's government, and the faint hum of optimism that seems to float through the air. Children play hopscotch on terraced streets while their parents hang washing on the line, a transistor radio perched in the window. The television, black and white, glows softly in the corner of nearly every home, carrying voices that feel familiar and safe. It's a Britain poised between the old and the new, a country still sipping tea from floral cups, yet dreaming in Technicolor. Let's take a gentle step back and look at 10 things that made 1967 truly, wonderfully British. Number 1. The Summer of Love arrives in Britain. The summer of 1967 wasn't just about music, it was about a feeling. London especially seemed to hum with something entirely new. Young people, dressed in flowing fabrics and flowers, wandered through Hyde Park, guitars in hand, spreading messages of peace, love, and freedom. The phrase "Summer of Love" drifted across from San Francisco, but Britain gave it its own voice, softer, perhaps, and a little more restrained, but no less hopeful. There were gatherings under the summer sun, patchouli-scented fairs, and poetry readings that lingered into twilight. For older generations, it was puzzling. For the young, it was liberation. The war years felt far behind, and here was a Britain learning to smile again, to live gently, without the weight of ration books or sirens. It wasn't about rebellion alone, it was about dreaming together, a moment when even the damp British summer felt touched by light. Number 2. The height of Beatlemania. By 1967, the Beatles weren't just musicians, they were a movement. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band had just been released, and suddenly the sound of Britain was psychedelic, surreal, and completely new. Radios crackled with "Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds," and teenagers huddled together, trying to make sense of the lyrics. Album covers became art. Every new song felt like a cultural event, discussed in classrooms and at dinner tables alike. You could walk down almost any British high street and see someone wearing John Lennon-style glasses or clutching a guitar, dreaming of forming a band in a garage. Music wasn't background noise, it was identity. And though parents might have rolled their eyes at the volume, deep down, everyone knew they were witnessing something historic, a small island reshaping the sound of the world. Number 3. Colour television begins to bloom. 1967 marked a quiet revolution inside British homes, the arrival of colour television. It began with BBC Two broadcasting Wimbledon in vivid greens, and for those lucky enough to own one of the new sets, it felt almost magical. After years of monochrome images, Britain suddenly came alive in colour. The Queen's outfits, garden shows, even the gentle hues of countryside documentaries all burst into life. Neighbours gathered round the one family on the street who had gone colour, marvelling as the tennis ball actually appeared yellow, not white. Of course, most still watched in black and white, their trusty sets humming quietly in the corner. But colour TV symbolised something larger: progress, optimism, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. It was Britain's visual awakening, one living room at a time. Number 4. Miniskirts and mod fashion. If there was one image that defined 1967 Britain, it was the sight of a young woman striding confidently down the street in a mini-skirt. Mary Quant's designs had taken hold of the nation, transforming fashion into a statement of freedom. Gone were the conservative hemlines of the post-war years. London streets became a catwalk, bold prints, clean lines, go-go boots, and eyeliner that could cut through fog. Carnaby Street and King's Road were the beating heart of it all, buzzing with youth, style, and the smell of leather jackets and perfume. Even young men were changing, trading in suits for slim trousers and colourful shirts. Mod culture was sleek, sharp, and unapologetically British. It wasn't just clothing, it was a new confidence, a generation declaring, "We're here, were different and were not afraid to be seen. Number 5. The British family around the wireless. Despite all the change, some rituals stayed comfortingly the same. In 1967, many families still gathered around the radio, the wireless, as it was lovingly called. The kitchen might have smelled of roast beef and mint sauce, and as the dishes were cleared, the familiar voice of the BBC announcer would fill the home. There was The Archers, still unfolding its slow tales of country life, and Desert Island Discs, a Sunday comfort. Children would lie on the rug, listening, eyes closed, picturing worlds that existed only in sound. For older listeners, it was a thread of continuity, something safe and steady in a decade moving at breakneck speed. Even as televisions took over the sitting room, the wireless remained a companion, a gentle hum of British life, thoughtful, polite, and endlessly reassuring. Number 6. The age of the milkman and the morning rattle. If you woke early in 1967, you'd hear it, the soft clink of glass bottles against one another. The milkman was doing his rounds. Before supermarkets and plastic cartons, milk arrived fresh each morning, delivered right to the doorstep in shining bottles sealed with foil caps. Children loved to peel them off, flattening them into tiny silver discs. The sound was part of the nation's rhythm, the gentle rattle of bottles on the metal crate, the hum of the electric milk float gliding quietly along misty streets. Dogs barked, curtains twitched, and the smell of toast drifted through the air. It was a small kindness in everyday life, knowing that no matter the weather, someone would make sure there was milk for your tea. By the late 1960s, the world was changing fast, but the milkman still came, a symbol of steady British mornings. Number 7. The local corner shop. Every neighborhood in 1967 had one, the corner shop. Usually run by a family, often open from dawn till dusk, it was the heartbeat of the community. You'd step inside to the bell above the door, the scent of ground coffee mingling with sweets and tobacco, shelves lined with tinned peaches, OXO cubes, and bread from the local baker. Children clutched a few pennies for a paper bag of sherbet lemons or blackjacks, counting carefully under the watchful eye of the shopkeeper. Adults exchanged gossip over the counter, discussing the weather, the price of butter, or last night's program on the telly. It wasn't just a place to buy, it was a place to belong. Before supermarkets and chain stores spread across Britain, the corner shop was more than a business. It was a small, steady reminder of neighbourly Britain, the kind that always asked, "How's your mum then?" Number 8. British seaside holidays. In 1967, the classic British seaside holiday was still alive and well. Families packed into Austin Minis, winding down to Blackpool, Scarborough, or Brighton, the car stuffed with sandwiches, thermos flasks, and deck chairs. There were donkey rides on the sand, striped windbreakers fluttering in the breeze, and the smell of salt, vinegar, and chips carried by the wind. Children built sandcastles with red buckets, while fathers braved the freezing waves for a quick paddle. In the evenings, everyone strolled along the pier, neon lights reflecting in the sea, the laughter of arcade machines ringing out. It wasn't glamorous, but it was ours. Holidays built on togetherness, not extravagance. A week of simple joys, raincoats, postcards, and soggy ice creams that somehow tasted perfect. For many families, those memories, wrapped in grey skies and gull cries, became the very essence of British happiness. Number 9. The taste of the British cuppa. Through every shift of the decade, the music, the fashion, the politics, one thing never changed: the comforting ritual of tea. In 1967, the British day still revolved around the kettle. Morning, noon and night, someone somewhere was brewing a pot. Strong, milky, and served with 2 sugars. At work it was a pause. At home it was a welcome. Fancy a cuppa? Was less a question, more an act of kindness. The clink of cups, the swirl of steam, and the quiet chatter that followed created small, timeless moments. Whether you were a housewife folding laundry, a factory worker on a break, or a student revising late into the night, tea united everyone. It wasn't just a drink, it was Britain itself, steeped in comfort, poured with care. Number 10. The Sunday roast tradition. And then there was Sunday, the day Britain seemed to exhale. In 1967, the Sunday roast was almost sacred, a ritual of warmth and familiarity. The smell of roast beef or lamb wafted through terrace streets, mingling with the church bells and the sound of the newspaper being folded. Families gathered around the table, plates filled with Yorkshire pudding, roast potatoes crisped in dripping peas, carrots, and rich brown gravy. The conversation was gentle, about school, about work, about nothing in particular. It wasn't about extravagance. It was about togetherness. For many, Sunday dinner was the heartbeat of the week. It reminded people who they were, and that even as Britain modernized, some traditions would always matter. By evening, the leftover gravy cooled, the washing up was done, and the nation prepared for another Monday. But for a few quiet hours, Britain felt perfectly still and perfectly home. 1967 was more than just a year, it was a turning point. A bridge between an old Britain still rooted in tea leaves, church bells, and the rattle of the milkman, and a new Britain that was creative, daring, and alive with colour. It was the year the world began to look at this small island, not just for its history, but for its imagination. From the Beatles songs to Mary Quant's skirts, from television screens glowing in colour to the laughter of children on seaside piers, Britain was quietly reinventing itself. Yet beneath all that change, the heart of everyday life stayed the same. Neighbours still waved across garden fences. Families still gathered round the table. And every story, every song, every simple comfort was part of something far greater. The gentle rhythm of British life. Looking back now, 1967 feels both near and impossibly distant. A time of innocence and transformation when the future seemed just beginning, and everything somehow still felt possible. Perhaps that's why we remember it not only with nostalgia, but with gratitude. Because those ordinary British moments weren't just memories, they were the making of who we became.